Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm IATF qualified auditor doing audit for the automotive sector for the last 18 years. I'm again back with a very interesting topic, and that topic is about Kirkpatrick model for measuring the training effectiveness. Well, in our day-to-day life, we do this effectiveness monitoring knowingly and unknowingly. So for example, you want to put your child in a school or maybe in a college. So you just find out the track of that particular school or college, that what kind of teachers are there, what kind of environment is there, when the child is coming out from the college, what kind of package that child is getting. And based on that, then we decide that yes, whether the school or this particular college is right for my child or not. Something similar happens in the training effectiveness in an environment of organization. So in this particular video, I'm going to talk about the Kirkpatrick model of the training effectiveness, which has 4 different levels. Well, when we talk about training effectiveness, primarily it has got 2 key factors. One is that whether the knowledge has been enhanced, and the second part is that how much that knowledge can be implemented or has been implemented by the participant after getting the training. So the Kirkpatrick model helps in doing that. So in this particular video, I'm going to talk about the 4 different levels of Kirkpatrick model. Then I'll be talking in detail about each and every level. After that, I'll be talking about that how to effectively implement this particular model. What are the key challenges or limitations with respect to the model? What are the benefits organization can get once they implement it? And what are the challenges that industry is facing with respect to training effectiveness monitoring? So let's first start with the Kirkpatrick model, which was developed in 1959 by Donald Kirkpatrick, and it has been revised and updated from time to time till recent time in 2003 also. So there are 4 key steps. The first step is talking about the reaction. The second step is talking about learning. The third step is talking about behavior. And the fourth step is talking about the impact or the result. So let's start with the first step, that is with respect to the reaction. So when we talk about reaction, our intent is to primarily understand that to which degree the participants have found the training favorable, engaging, and maybe relevant to their job. And it can help the organizations to understand that whatever feedback that is coming from the participant, that will help to design the future training programs. And one very important thing here in the reaction part is that organization has to analyze the understanding with respect to the learner as well as with respect to the trainer. I can give you a very nice example. Many years back, I attended one training on design of experiment. Now the trainer was wonderful, excellent, very high competency, no doubt about that. But the trainer was at this level when the trainer was talking about it, and majority of the participants were somewhere here. So whatever trainer was talking, it was going all above our head. So in spite of the best of the intention by the trainer, since the trainer was not able to come to our level, the training was not very successful. So in this particular section, reaction part, the most important thing is to understand that whatever the things that were supplied to the participants, whether it was right or not. Now it can be with respect to the program objectives, it can be the course material, it can be with respect to the content relevance, and also with respect to the trainer knowledge. And based on that, it becomes very clear that whatever was the basic objective, whether that has been met or not. So once we are clear with that, that comes level number 2. So level number 2 is talking about the learning. So when we talk about learning, the key objective is that whether the participants have acquired the intended knowledge, skill, attitude, confidence, and the commitment based on the training in which they have participated. Now, the key objective of level 2 is to measure that whether the participants have learned or they have not learned. One very important thing to understand is that there could be a possibility that whatever has been planned that may not have achieved, and there can be different reasons for that. One of the important reasons could be that maybe the environment is not conducive, so the person can effectively implement that. So to understand that the person has learned something or not, well, there are very common techniques before and after the questionnaire, wherein a questionnaire is given before the training and then they understand that what is the level, and after the training has been completed, then another question is begun to see that, say for example, in the beginning the person may have got 50 marks out of 100, but now after the training the person has got 70 marks. So it means there is an increment of 20 marks from the beginning. So one very important thing is that this process of scoring should be very clearly defined so that there is no inconsistency later on. That's very, very important. So that brings level number 3, that is about behavior. Now training has been imparted. We have seen that yes, there is a distinct knowledge enhancement in comparison to before. But then the third very important step is what about the implementation, that whether the participant has been able to implement that thing in real practical life or not. So the key objective is to understand that once the person is back, what happened after that. And generally these kind of evaluations should be done 3 to 6 months after the training, and it can vary from training to training. Based on that, the organization can decide when to do that. So one very important thing is to understand that whether the person has learned something or maybe the person has not learned anything and the training is ineffective. As I said earlier, in the level 2 also, one very important thing here to understand is that maybe the environment in the organization is not very conducive so that the person can actually implement that, or maybe the selection of people are not accurate, and that could have been the result that person have not been able to implement those things in their practical life. I can give you a very apt example of my personal experience. Many years back, I got the training with respect to cost of poor quality. So while I was getting this particular training, I was just wondering that whether, at that time I was at engineer level, I was wondering that whether I'm the right person to get this training and implement that, because unless and until the top people or the senior people, they understand about cost of poor quality, they think that this is important, in spite of my best of intention, it will never be implemented. So what happened, I got the training of cost of poor quality, I went back, I tried to communicate that particular thing, but then it was Greek to everyone and nothing happened. It was just that I understood something and then it was finished. So it is very important that whenever a training is being provided, whether that environment is conducive so that it can be effectively implemented or not, that's very important. And then that brings level 4 about the results, that whatever training that has been implemented or has been given, what tangible benefit it has given to the top management. So primarily the intent is to understand that whatever the key performance indicators that were established before the training, what has happened to that. One very common terminology that is being used is return on investment, ROI, that whatever investment that has been done on that training and what was the intent while giving the training, whether all that has been achieved or not. If it has been achieved, wonderful. If it has not been achieved, well then it does not serve any purpose. Now talking about next, what are the benefits that organization can get if they effectively implement this 4 level of Kirkpatrick model? Certainly, first of all, it is going to improve the cost efficiency. The employee retention will improve because they will feel better about it. Certainly, it is going to enhance the morale of the people. It will increase the production, reduce the waste. And when that will happen, it will also help to increase the sales, and the quality rating with the customer will improve. That will certainly impact the customer satisfaction, and there will be very few complaints that is going to be there. Now that brings the next step, that how to implement this 4 levels of Kirkpatrick model. Because unless and until we know the right methodology or right way to implement it, then we will not get the desired result. Now think about it, that you have to go to a particular spot, a picnic spot. What you will do? First of all, you will decide that where you want to go, what you want to achieve there, and what is the purpose of going there. Once you are clear about that, only then you will decide that, okay, now I'm starting on this particular time, these are the members who are going with me, and there can be many other things that will follow. But the first and the foremost important thing is that what do you want to achieve from that trip? Something exactly similar should happen in the training effectiveness model also. Because unless and until we are clear what exactly we want to achieve, we will never be able to do justice with the entire training process. So there are 4 key questions that needs to be asked at this particular juncture. The first and the foremost important question is that which results do we aim to achieve? So unless and until we are clear that what we want to achieve from that, will not be able to move further. The second thing is that what do people need to do differently? People are doing routine job, we want certain results, so we want something different than the routine what people are doing. So that's very important. The third thing is what knowledge and skills do they need now to achieve that particular target. We need to now decide that what kind of trainings, knowledge that needs to be given to the people so that I can achieve that. And the fourth and the most important thing is that how do we design an attractive training program? So once we give answer to all these four questions, we will be able to plan the training effectiveness and the entire training module in a very effective way. So rather than going from level 1, we should start from level 4, then level 3, then level 2, and then level 1. And once we do that, it will be very easy for us to ensure that we are implementing the things effectively. Let's take an example that an organization decides to have some breakthrough improvement and they decide that they will implement Six Sigma in their organization. Now, once they are implementing Six Sigma in their organization, it's very important first to understand that what the business objective they want to achieve, what kind of training, what kind of people they need who should go for that, what kind of knowledge advancement is needed so that they can effectively implement, and how to design that particular training. So when all these four questions are being asked with respect to the Six Sigma training, then they will be able to implement that, and then they can see at the level 4 that whatever was the intent that they want to have a saving of say $100,000, whether that has been achieved or not. Now talking about the next step. What are the limitations with respect to the training effectiveness model of Kirkpatrick? Well, the first and the foremost important thing is that when we are giving one-off training, it is not going to serve any purpose because there should be a number of training or there should be a purpose behind a particular training. Then certainly it's very time consuming, it is resource intensive, and it is expensive to implement. So it may not be practical for all kind of organizations to implement unless and until they have a very dedicated and committed system to implement that. And the last, talking about the industry challenges with respect to this 4-level model of Kirkpatrick. The first and the foremost important challenge is that how often the organizations are clear about their business objectives and they are identifying the training needs as per that business objective. The second key challenge is that it may be there, but are we identifying the right people who can achieve those business objectives? Do we have a process to identify the right people for those trainings or not? And the third and the most important thing is that do we have a proper mechanism to monitor the effectiveness of training? Do we have all those levels to understand that yes, whether we are able to achieve our target or not? Do we have that? That is a big question that the people should ask. So if I do a summary, I talked about the 4 levels of Kirkpatrick model. Then I talked in detail about each model. Then I talked about that how to implement this particular model. What are the recent challenges that industry is facing? What are the limitations to that? And what are the benefits organizations can get in case they effectively implement the Kirkpatrick model? My next video will be also in this series wherein I'm going to talk about return on investment with respect to the trainings. Regularly, I'm getting a lot of feedback from your side and they're helping me to understand your expectation. So please do continue that. And in case you want to understand a little bit more about this particular video, you'll find a link below. If you click that, you'll find a blog there. And there you'll find this information in much more detail. And in case you're liking these kind of videos and blogs, you can always share with your friends and colleagues. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and my website, bhavyamangla.com. Thank you.